Good day today. Got a little opportunity, put a little bit of pressure on the quarterbacks in a blitz period to see how they function, and really came away feeling really good about our young offensive line and how far that they've become to hold up against some pressure against some older guys. It's good to see the quarterbacks get the ball out. Hopefully there'll be a couple more balls completed the next time around. But overall, a very good day. Looking forward to getting back in the into full pads on Thursday and Saturday, and be able to see some live tackling. Today, just injury-wise, Tyler Petit had a little bit of a lower back. Jakari Godfrey had a tightened hamstring that we pulled. Edmondson had a hip flexor. Josh Mortabebe, we just pulled for dizziness, and Randall Grimes for a groin, and Dominic Davis for dizziness. So with that, I'll take any questions that you have.
Coach, I couldn't hear too well from where I was, but what was going on at the end of practice?
As far as that?
Yeah.
You know, I like to call it hunting. So I go out and blast check myself, and they always get a kick out of it. And today I went out and checked about a dozen men, and they know that if somebody misses, they all get it, and all 12 were there. So they were very, very happy people. But it's part of our culture, is to be where you're supposed to be and do your absolute best. And that's what that was about, just celebrating it. They would have been a lot sadder if it would have been the other way, if I would have found somebody.
Coach, how do you feel spring practice is progressing?
You know, we're 7 practices in, and you know, the thing that I've challenged our staff is to raise our 2s and 3s up. You know, I have a pretty good idea where Malik Dorton is, and a Porter Gustin is, and a Marvell Tell, a Biggie Marshall, those older guys. But it's really the opportunity to develop some younger people that can contribute and actually take functional reps in games. So we're a fresher football team down the stretch. You know, you're talking about hoping to play the opportunity to play 15 games in a season, and to be able to do that, you have to play a lot of guys. So our challenge is to raise those younger players up to where they can go out there and help us win games. I see that happening. You know, I'm so glad we got 8 more practices in the spring and 25 in the fall to be able to help contribute to that. But I'm proud of our staff for right now for really focusing. It's so easy to focus on a starter, or you know, feel good about, oh yeah, Biggie's doing it right. Reporters, well, we know they're going to do it right. But it's about that next guy that steps in. Is he ready? And that's the challenge right now.
Do you see an old lineman right now, maybe a young one that's raising up?
I've been so pleasantly pleased with the 2 centers, to be honest with you, to really have their first valuable reps and competing against a Brandon Peely and a J2 Felly, you know, some big men, and to function, you know, at this level as freshmen, one a redshirt freshman and one a true freshman, and those 2 kids. And I've been really, really pleased with both of them because you haven't seen a lot of assignment errors, you haven't seen a lot of physical beats, and for 2 young kids, that's great. And they got a great leader in Toa that's helping them got to coach Toa right now. But it's a really good thing to see 2 kids that you may need at some point in time to help us next year grow.
When you look at Sam Darnold, you mentioned before we don't have a star right now. Mm-hmm. Is there kind of like a team-wide dynamic where players maybe take a little bit more accountability because they can't rely on Sam? He's not here.
No, we talked about that early in spring, that I think any time that you lose a 4,000-yard passer, a 1,500-yard rusher, 1,100-yard receiver, it's the opportunity for some other guys to step up. Just because there's not a superstar right now doesn't mean there's not one at the end of the season. I told our kids I really feel our strength is in our numbers. When you look at it across the board depth-wise and the number of really good players on this football team, you know, we're going to win as a team. Playing very clean football, very fundamental football, and playing together. And it's something that if we truly want to take the next step, that's what's going to have to happen.
After reviewing the film from Friday, what did you see from the quarterbacks?
I tell you what, Lindsay, it was really nice to see the accuracy really step out. I thought, especially with some deep ball opportunities, to hit Josh Mortabebe down the right side on a long ball, to not only were the pressures being picked up, but they were getting the ball out. That's usually with a young quarterback, you go, oh my God, he's holding on the ball too long, get it out. But I saw a great rhythm to both kids and good accuracy for their first time out with live bullets, tackling. I was pleasantly surprised, to be honest with you.
Brian mentioned ball security and just said, when you're a young quarterback with so much going on that sometimes you forget how to do the little things, the simple things. Is that kind of what you saw with the snap issue?
Yeah, well, you get a little bit of high and hot ball. You look off the film, we make it hard on the quarterbacks. We believe if you touch it, you catch it, but it's still high and hot, and it's twofold. You got a young center and a young quarterback, and that's why you have 40 practices. So hopefully it improves as we go along.
Do you see pass protection as something that you guys have spent more time on this spring, just because of going back to the Cotton Bowl, number of sacks in that game? Does that carry over to spring ball, where it's?
No, we're working, as you saw today. We had a emphasized team blitz, and we're keeping the same format. I think one of the things that's happened for us is we have some young players that are really developing at the position. I think of Austin Jackson and Andrew Voorhees, and Elijah Vera Tucker coming along, Brent Nealon coming along now. Jalen McKenzie is a year older, and to see his athleticism and strength grow. Those five players that we signed last year are really starting to come in and grow into their own. They're all 300-pound plus kids with great athleticism, and that provides great depth. You know what Chris Brown can do, and Toa can do, and Chuma can do. But again, it goes back to those 2s and 3s that we got to grow up and get ready.
Is that a game where you harp on during an offseason? Do you kind of throw that tape out?
No, you always should. If you don't learn from history, you're destined to repeat it. So I'm not afraid to show them and make them see, hey, this is what happens when we don't perform or you lack a fundamental. You have to watch that tape over and over, and it gets in your guts, and you never want it to happen again. But you have to be able to show those things. You have to be honest with it, or it'll repeat itself.
When you think about what you're doing with the 2 quarterbacks in spring, and you've got a 3rd one coming in the summer, are you thinking about the transition and what you're doing so that the 3rd guy can also be kind of up to speed when he gets here? Yeah,
with the 3 quarterbacks that we have on campus and the one that's coming in, we are keeping our system. We haven't added anything. We do lean on some of the strengths that a Matt Fink and a Jack Sears can do with their legs. So you're seeing a little bit of quarterback-driven run. We've always had those. It's nothing new. It's just how often do we call those plays, depending on who's in. And so we still have our system. It hasn't changed and will not change. It's going to be who can execute. And as a coordinator, and that's one of the things I think we've done a good job around here, is to be able to focus on the strengths of the player, and we bend as play callers and coordinators. Whoever's executing the best, you go out there and you do what he does strength-wise.
Are there any older players who've kind of jumped out at you who are getting a shot now that maybe you didn't expect to jump out at the beginning of spring?
It's great to have Lockett back. To be back out there and performing. It's nice to see him. Christian Rector is continuing to do where he left off. I think he's having a nice opportunity. Connor Murphy has really shown up. I know he was bragged on in the defensive team meeting, but there's several guys out there that are improving. That's been here a couple of years. Yes, Adam.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to ask, how would you compare Jack and Fink as runners? Because they're both athletic, but they're different.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, similar speed-wise. It's surprisingly how fast both kids are, and both have the capability to make explosive runs with their legs. So one thing I have been impressed with Jack is early has been his pocket awareness. You've seen him pull the ball down in these scrimmage-type atmospheres and take off, and it's kind of that decision. He's going through his progression. It's not there, and he finds a running lane. He's doing a nice job with that right now. So both kids are dangerous with their legs. And as we saw with Matt last year, he took one for 51. I mean, he could scoop pretty good. So both kids have the capability of moving the chains with their legs, which is advantageous. Thank you, guys.